Hello, and welcome to another RPG Maker tutorial. Today we're going to be doing two things, so if the tutorial seems a bit longer than it really needs to be for what I'm doing, feel free to use the timestamps to skip ahead to the part that's relevant to you. The first part that we're going to be doing is showing how to make a consumable item. This is going to be pretty basic. If you're completely new to RPG Maker though, or have never seen this before, it might still be useful. And then after that, we're going to do something that's a little bit more advanced, and that's going to be setting a skill up for a character that can only be used when you have an item, and that will consume a copy of that item on use. So the advantage to that sort of a system, instead of just doing an item, is that with a consumable item, which we're going to be making a grenade, and presumably anybody can use that. Doesn't matter which character it is, you just go to the item menu, you throw the grenade, it's fine. But if we want to have it be limited to a specific character being able to use the item, then we would want to go the skill approach instead. Alright, so starting with the item. Let's make this. Explodes, doing 200 damage to all enemies. Regular price, obviously damage value and price need to be balanced for your own game. It is a consumable. Using it will get rid of it. And this is going to affect all enemies. Only in battle. It always hits. It does HP damage of no particular element, and it's just going to do a flat 200. It doesn't care what the enemy's defense is, so we don't have to worry about, see all these codes that pop up in here. You know, A.attack, B.defense, the sort of thing. Compare the attacker's attack value to the defender's defense value. We're not messing with any of that. We're just going to do a flat 200 damage, and in fact, it's so flat, there's no variance, there's no crit chance, it's just, this is what the item does. Alright, and just like that, that should be done. We should have a working grenade. So let's just check a few things real quick here. Item grenade. Quick create that. And we're going to give the player 10 grenades. And grenades were found. Okay. And then here, there's no quick event creation for a monster. That's fine. We will make one real quick. Okay, you are our unlucky victim for today. And we're not gonna do a whole lot with this. Can't escape, can lose, whatever. And nothing happens no matter what, so same as that action button, there we go. And that should be the very bare minimum that we need to check that this is working. Alright. Oh my god, I forgot how loud this game is. By default. Okay, that was something. So if you check, we have 1 grenade killed both goblins. We have 9 grenades left. Okay. Right. Let's BGM. This isn't a master volume, is it? This is why I removed all the sound in my game, by the way. It's because, okay, battle. None. Victory. None. Theme, title screen, none. Okay, we'll just deal with the fact that we're gonna have really loud sounds that aren't music. That's fine. All right, so that's the basic item done. However, let's say that we have our party of 4 here, but we only want Reed, the first character, to be able to use this grenade. So in this case, let's just delete all those. We're going to create a grenade skill. Throws a grenade doing 200 damage to all enemies. But this skill is going to specifically require you to have an item in your inventory in order to be usable. Now you can see there's a required weapon part down here. This isn't going to work with items. So we're going to have to do a little bit of trickery to get around this and sort of beat the engine into submission so that it does what we want it to do. Magic type, sure, it can be a special. Enemy all in battle. Doesn't cost MP or TP. Certain hit, animation none. Okay, that looks good to me. HP damage 200, variance 0. Alright, so we have our basic grenade item, and we just set up a grenade skill that basically does the same thing as the item. And if we just tested this right now, this should be identical the way it works. Guess we can go actor, read, skill, add skill, grenade. There we go. So if we just quickly test this, because you should always be testing things when you're working in RPG Maker or any programming, because the more you do before you test, the more of an issue you're going to end up having. This NVIDIA thing popping up is bothering me. I just had to update a bunch of drivers in order to get OBS to work. I'm going to have to look at that in a moment. When I'm done this video. Okay, so read. So item, the grenades still exist. We're going to pretend that that doesn't exist anymore. It's no longer a usable item. Instead, we're going to use special grenade. And the other characters do not have it. Okay, so somebody attacked first, but then the grenade went off and killed both of them. Excellent. So more or less working as intended. Now, we get to mess around with all my notes over here. This is taken from my game that I did in a game jam recently, where you have a limited number of arrows, and we're going to repurpose this logic in order to get this grenade to work. So, let's start with, well, we've made the item, which is a grenade. In this case, it will put occasion never. We don't want the player manually using the grenade. That's the first important change. The rest of this then no longer matters because it's not going to be used. Alright, so under skills, well, we have damage formula, and we're going to do something a little bit sneaky in here. Go a.consumeItem, and that's going to have A is the person using the skill. So read uses the grenade, and it's going to consume the item. And that's going to be $dataItems. And we are looking at, I will check that, no, double check the number in a moment. And so a.consumeItem, dataItems 1, 200 damage. Okay. And so the number after the semicolon is our damage value. So you could put a.attack and b.defense here if you wanted to have the grenade depend on how skillful the character was that was throwing it. Or use their magic attack or something. Or maybe the enemy's agility will decrease the amount of damage they take. You put b.agi. So I quickly demonstrate that. Minus, let's say, 6 times b.agi. So this, in this case, we would be doing 200 damage minus 6 times the enemy's agility stat. Something like that. I'm just going to leave it at flat 200, but that's where you put the damage at this part. And the first part with the semicolon, if we look at our items, grenade is code 1. So yes, that is item 1. So we will use up a grenade if we use this. So as it stands currently, using this grenade skill, we'll subtract a grenade from our inventory, and then it will do 200 damage to all enemies. However, this will still work if we have 0 grenades. It will try to do the first part, nothing will happen, and then it'll do the second part. And that's really where things get tricky. I should be testing this. I'm not going to, because I'm just assuming it works, because I make bad decisions while programming. So, effects. In here, we're going to want to call a common event. So let's make the common event. In fact, we're going to be making 2 common events here. The first one, we're going to have an initialize combat. And the second one is going to be grenade combat skill. Something like that. Okay. That is fine, but it sort of isn't super legible, so let's just do that. Grenade combat. Okay. Could just be grenade, whatever. So initialize combat. In this case, we're going to check. Where is this? Conditional branch. If item grenade, if party has grenade. And if they do, then we're going to change skill. Here it is, change skill. For Reed's the one that we want using this. He will learn the grenade skill. If the party has grenade. If the party does not have the grenade, copy paste, we will forget the grenade skill. Forget the grenade skill. And just to make testing a little bit quicker on this, I'm going to remove 2 party members. So we're going to have 1 person with grenade skill, 1 person without grenade skill. Okay. And in order for this initialized combat to actually run, kind of jumping all over the place, but that's just how it's going to be this time, I guess. We're going to have turn 0 plus 0. That just means at the start of the first turn. So at the start of battle, before anything else happens, and never again. We are going to call the common event where is it? Common event. Initialize combat. Okay. Now, if you're using this sort of a system, you are going to have to copy event page, and then for every single troop that you make in the game, you're going to have to paste this event page. It's just something to remember. But that's why we're doing this as a common event. So now, no matter what happens at the start, this is just going to be at the start of every single battle. So if we have a party of 4 and each person has different abilities depending on which items are in the inventory, we can set them for every character in this one event here. If we have other stuff that we want to check at the start of the battle, if certain flags have been checked, for example, if the party's under some sort of status or curse or something, you can just put everything in here. Alright, so let's do a test. So currently, what should happen is that we shouldn't have this grenade skill. And this is an issue that came up in my game. And I'm not entirely sure why that happens, but what I did find out that fixes it is to not actually have the grenade skill on the character. So we're going to handle whether the character has the grenade or not in that particular common event. So now if I do this, whoops, special, yeah, no grenade, okay. And we're forced to fight. Excellent. I'm just going to quit out that way. I could have fled from the combat. Same deal. Okay, well, now we have grenades. Let's go in here. Goblin emerged. And we have the grenade skill, because we have grenades. Excellent. Looks like it's working. Alright. one more test. We're going to set this to 1. And what we're expecting to have happen now is that we will have the grenade skill. Oh, I didn't change the text. That's fine. We'll have the grenade skill, but yes, we'll have the grenade skill. We use the grenade to kill them. And then we should not have the grenade skill. I suspect this isn't going to work. It did work. Okay, that's a pleasant surprise. It is gone. That actually means that some of the workarounds that I was coming up with were unnecessary, so I can simplify the code in my previous project. Excellent. I love learning new things. Alright, so a.consumeItem seems to have worked just fine. An issue that I had with my other project was that doing a.consumeItem wasn't actually consuming the item if the enemies were being killed by the weapon, but that no longer seems to be an issue, so I guess this is fine. Which, yeah, that's a pleasant surprise for me. That means that common event 2 we don't actually need, so that makes things easier, because everything just seems to be working. Which makes me happy. So that's going to be it for this tutorial then. It's not my usual experience with programming. Usually when things go in a way that's not expected, it is terrible, but I will take it. I will see you next time for something else.